Uh, it's nice to see you, beautiful people of YouTube. As you guys notice, maybe you guys haven't noticed, we are running on 720p because we've ended our service with StreamYard. We will not be purchasing this. I still haven't done what I needed to do to get us on a new program, but that will be rolling out probably, I would think, by the beginning of next week. It'll give me the rest of this week and all weekend to customize whatever I need to customize, and we'll deal with that on Monday. So it is nice to see you all this morning. We've got kind of a few updates to go over. The first update is there was a notice. I'm not going to read it verbatim. I've watched some things related to it on, hey guys, on Travis Decker. So Chelan County Sheriff's Office provided a press release, or press release, basically stating everybody is stepping back. They've been going hard. They've been going for a really long time. The Border Patrol took over the actual manhunt portion of the investigation. I was not of the belief that he was alive. By the time they found the girls, I truly believe he was deceased. He's deceased somewhere out there. I've never believed that he survived this. I never believed he really left the general area. I believe it was so thick and in so many little nooks and crannies that he's somewhere out there. I guess only time will tell, but that was just my assessment because of everything I knew. And it was more emboldened as well when we started seeing that he had some major things happening to him right before this situation, such as having 2 automobile accidents within the week leading up to, I know one happened a few days before he picked up the girls, or a day before he picked up the girls, but that was the second of another wreck. And he didn't have car insurance. So at some point he was getting ready to lose his driver's license, his literally every bit of whatever he had left. So if he was already hopeless and helpless and felt worthless when he initiated the divorce from Whitney, then you can only imagine unraveling all that time until that moment. So I just don't believe, I've never believed he was alive, but we will always report what law enforcement needs us to report, and I will always provide my opinion, and that's what we do here. So we also have Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Not a whole lot is going on with that. I've got to get working and cracking on my end. There's one major hurdle I've got to overcome and figure out, and I just haven't had the time to overcome it. And it's nothing anybody else can help me with. It's something that I've got to work through myself. And then once we get that done, then we'll be in good shape. But nothing has really changed too much in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case for me. We are entertaining and have always entertained other possibilities, things that just don't work. We know that we had Hindsight and Mama Rissa, as well as BMW on here, kind of giving us a different perspective for them. Their perspective is something definitely is fishy, or something fishy going on with the Texas Roadhouse. And it's hard to dispute that. I mean, I personally went to that specific Texas Roadhouse just to see how it operated. I had never been to a Texas Roadhouse before. If I could have, you guys know me, I would have sat right in the same seat that Katie and Sebastian sat in, if I could have, just to know exactly what both sides were seeing in that booth. It's just, that's part of me. Whenever I'm covering a case, I need to see the aspect. I need to see everything. There's just something about getting that understanding that helps guide you. And at least for me, that's my go-to. It guides me. So I was there, and it does support, moreover, Hindsight and their theory about the suspicion going on inside that restaurant that particular night. I can tell you that the behaviors that we were analyzing and looking at as possibly, suspicious behavior, the real Me Too was there with me. So she can give you her insight on her perspective of there, but we didn't have any weird, suspicious people when we were dining. So I couldn't get that vibe, but because of that, I feel like there was something kind of out of the norm. Not that it means anything, just like the lights on the outside of the house, they're out of the norm. But, could they mean something? Could they not mean something? Collectively, they probably mean a whole lot. Singularly, not much. So this is an event that happened there. There's some people, phones, there's a lot of stuff people are very concerned about. Are you okay? Are very concerned about when it comes to what's going on with the Texas Roadhouse. So, based upon their theory, Sebastian most likely would not have made it home. He would have most likely been handed off. That this was kind of like this ring of people that may have done this stuff, for programs or other things. We've heard about them. It's not uncommon, but what's uncommon is them when there's a missing person not stepping forward and said, we have all the authority in the world to do this. This is what happened. This is where he's at. He's in good health, and everything was executed perfectly. So things like that, and none of that has happened. So it does kind of make me curious about the whole situation around that. But the suspicion, until that worry box is closed, it's not for us to say that that has no relevance, because there's suspicious activity there that very well may have relevance in Sebastian's disappearance. But also, going to the house, he was there with his mother. We find out a lot of things about his mother. She has violent tendencies, has displayed those violent tendencies in the past, according to Seth Rogers. So we wonder, was some of that done to Sebastian? Well, lo and behold, there are several CPS reports prior to him disappearing. And it sounds like the Department of Children and Family Services didn't take it seriously because they never reached out to Seth. Seth had to fight them for the reports. But it didn't sound like Chris or Katie took it seriously, because in my opinion, they always had the scapegoat, Sebastian himself. He was always the one to blame for everything. He was the one that's autistic. He's the one that has that history of self, harm, not, to the point of whatever, but we've heard about him, having some of his fits, behavior, which is common in autistic people and children, to have like meltdown type of behaviors. They, from my understanding, they learn, part of the therapy is learning how to deal with that, learning how to work through that, learning how to have different outlets whenever they're frustrated. But, it's still all a learning process for the child as well as the parent. But in this scenario, it sounded like Chris was being overly aggressive with Sebastian. And as the case progressed, we learned that Chris and Katie have been trying to move him out of the house all the way back since October 2022, which is a little odd because it's only about a month or so after they move into their new home, that big, beautiful home. So what could have possibly happened that after they get I'm sure, the home of their dreams, they now want their son gone. They don't want him part of their family anymore. And that's kind of where the beginning of this story, in my opinion, begins with Sebastian. But now we fast forward Sebastian's missing. He's been missing well over a year. He hasn't been heard, seen, hasn't reached out to his father, hasn't reached out to anybody, and left the home with nothing. So what happened? Where is Sebastian Rogers? We don't know. We don't know. But I truly do believe, in my personal and professional opinion of doing this for quite some time and seeing all kinds of the walk of life, even though those that resemble hashtag Chris Proudfoot and hashtag Katie Proudfoot. And it is my opinion that they know more. They absolutely know more. What does that mean? I don't know. Seth does not believe that Katie could hurt Sebastian that way, to death. So he believes that she's put him somewhere. And I don't know one way or another. I pray to God that's true. But I'd also believe that if that was true, there would be absolutely a paper trail. That it would be a lot of money to be spending to have him placed somewhere. These things aren't free. That's my problem. Nothing in this world is free. So where's the paper trail? Follow the money. You can't pay for stuff like this with cash. So, I mean, these people that do these type of things where they go in and take the child from the home, they're professional businesses, okay? They're not a bunch of thugs on the side of the road that do this for a hobby. These are professionals that have professional facilities that do these things. So I'm kind of playing, going back and forth with that. Anyways, although that has nothing to do with what our topic of conversation is today, our topic of conversation is the Devil Den's murder, right? This is the horror in Devil's Den State Park that unfolded on Saturday. Mom and a father, unalived, with a sharp blade object. We still don't have what truly happened out there on that trail. But we're going to start piecing some of this stuff together because you guys know I love Nancy Grace. Who doesn't love Nancy Grace? Thanks, Phil. Phil just gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Phil thank you. And for the person that received that coveted membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room. You are going to need it because we are going to be hitting our head on a hard surface because this case doesn't make sense. It defies logic. And now we're stuck because we don't have a lot of information. We're stuck piecing it together. So who do we go to? We go to our BFFs out here on these streets. And my BFF, we got a lot of love for Nancy Grace. And she upsets me sometimes too when we let her know. We come in here and say, you know what, I'm mad at her. She did this and I don't like it, right? But we always love Nancy Grace. And she's got our back. She's got a national platform and she's got the work that I do's back. She always calls on the web sleuths. She always calls on people to get in gear, start going through the stuff, start going through videos and footage. We're calling on the public to, if you're out there in this area, even if you think it's insignificant, go through your footage, go through your photos, go through your dash cam. If you were in the area, guys, he fled. Maybe you weren't in Devil's Den. Maybe you were just on a road. Maybe you were just near there. Maybe some of the businesses that are, there's a few ways in. I think like 2. So businesses on either side, you're out there, you're one of these businesses, your gas station, check your cameras. Check your cameras for Ford. I have to think the car looks pretty junky. Okay, we're not talking about a brand new car, but it's a four-door sedan. But from this guy's rugged appearance, okay, he doesn't look like Mr. Clean, okay, to me. So I'm looking for probably a beat up car, probably something that doesn't look like it's been washed in a few days, just dirty. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I think this car is going to look like. But for all intents and purposes, we're only looking for a dark colored four-door sedan, potentially, possibly a Mazda. We don't know. But at the time this person left, which we're going to get into it, allegedly duct taped or covered, obscured the license plate. Now, there is a professional in here on Nancy Grace's show. We're only going to be playing, this is like a 53-minute show. I'm going to drop it here, you guys. Well, I'll wait until I'm done with my stuff. But I'm going to drop the link here. And then we're only going to pick up a few different things, different talking points. And it's like the first 15 minutes of the show. Okay, so we're residing in the first 15 minutes of the show, but I definitely behoove everybody to go and watch the entire show. It's got a lot of great information. I had the ability to watch it this morning, right? Oh, and a big shout out to Mama Rissa, Hindsight, and BMW for a great show last night. They're always so sweet. Sorry about that. I think I just lost my mic. As long as I did, you move this thing just ever so slightly, everything falls apart. So I'm going to get a dock. I think I'm going to get a dock that actually goes up under the computer instead of the wires hanging off the computer and pulling on it. I think I'm going to get a dock that the computer sits on that I can plug everything in. I think that will stop a lot of the stuff that we're having going wrong with some of the just movement of the just to run the show. We get knocked here, knocked there, and everything just moves ever so slightly and knocks everything off. So we'll try to figure out. I think I might just go ahead and get that dock. I actually like it. It's pretty nice. But getting back here, we got this raggedy person. We believe he's in a raggedy vehicle. He's fleeing this area. He's got duct tape on his license plate. We're talking about that. Nancy Grace has got this show. She's got some great commentary on it. And we're going to dive into it because there's something in her commentary today that says, whoa, we need to rewind. Because these are the little details that make me think that there's more going on here than meets the eye. Now, I don't want to get all, bombarded with conspiracy theory type of stuff. It's more just trying to process the possibilities or what this means, because the way I'm seeing it may not be the way you're seeing it. So I want to definitely turn this over to Nancy Grace because a direct comment of some information she has learned out there on that trail that happened before they were attacked. And that's where this conversation is going to reside because, again, it's making this seem more illogical as to why these two people were attacked. So let's go ahead without further ado. Well, actually, with further ado, because we're going to have to go through here. I haven't said hi to everybody up in chat. We've been on almost a 20-minute intro. So good morning, guys. Good morning. It's nice to see you. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime, and we are covering the Devil Dens horror. I don't know what else to call it. It was horror on the trail. It was brutal. It was brutal, and those poor girls, their mother. Oh, I can't. We'll circle back. Melanie, it's nice to see you. Bullhorn Betty is present. Deanna D, it's nice to see you. Don, Phil, good morning. Lisa B, always. VA, YouTuber, Barbie, good morning. Good morning, Kathleen, Panda Bear's mom. It's okay. Anybody that wants to be in the bushes, you're allowed to be in the bushes. Twitch Andrea, it's nice to see you, me and you. Good morning. Good morning. Detective Whiskers up in the house. It's nice to see you. Oops, I just passed over a few people. White Lotus, good morning. Nancy, it's nice to see you. Faye, Karen, good morning. Outer Banks is on time. Woohoo! Woohoo! Good gracious. Something fishy about DT case. In my opinion, I don't want to say any more right now. Okay. Well, make sure you fill me in. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I keep things off the record. If you feel funny, let me know. Passion Flower, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Chaos, it's nice to see you as well. Good morning, guys. Who else do we have? Our beautiful Pebbles up in the house. Good morning, good morning. Hey. Arcaholic, it's nice to see you, my love. We already said Phil. Phil, thank you for the gifted Bullhorn Betty membership. West Virginia Holler Girl up in the house. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you are doing well. Look at that. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Melanie thank you. And for the person that received this coveted membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Lisa B. Always gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership from Lisa B. Always, don't forget to tell her thank you. And for the person that received this coveted membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Juicy Jules, it's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Pink Peony, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well as well. Connie, it's nice to see you. Dinks, good morning. Unicorn Indiana up in the house. I hope you are doing well. Thank you, Melanie. She's reminding everybody, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for BHB. That's me. That's me. Karen Powers, it's nice to see you. Good afternoon. Good morning. That's unusual. Usually it's the opposite. Maybe today is a crisscross day? I don't know. Remember crisscross? If you do, you're entirely too old. So just shh. Just shh. True Crime Junkie, it's nice to see you. Crystal Pistol, hello. Stephanie, it's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Nani, main mom of 3, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well today. Rod from, I think you're a couple ponds over in Australia from down under. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Periwinkle Moon, it's nice to see you. Hey. Robin, good morning. It's nice to see you as well. Oops, Judy Mack, I almost missed you. My scrolling was just moving on up. Who else do we have? Michelle, Life Interrupts. That's a loaded name there. I'm just saying. So true. Life Interrupts. So true. Where else are we? Oh, we're at the end. So good morning. And the people that will be coming in or on the replay crew, it's nice to see you. And I hope you have an amazing hump day. What day is it? It is hump day. Tomorrow we'll go through. We'll be sliding after today. So what a horror that took place out there in Arkansas. I can't imagine. But we have to look at the facts, okay? Clinton He wasn't no tiny guy. His wife, Cristen, seems very, very sweet. Definitely a loving mom. I had an opportunity to see some of their videos, some of their photos. They were in love. They were starting their family. It's always the good ones. It's always the good ones. But there's something just that it's not sitting right with me in this case. Now, I believe there's just crazy crackpots out there. Okay? Most of our cases are crazy crackpots. Look at the Idaho 4. Minding their own business, going out, having a great time, coming to their home, going to their bed, laying in their home, in the sanctity and the security of their home. And some lunatic breaks in and kills 4 of them. We see crazy things all over. But this has a tone of targetedness to it for me. And I'm not saying targetedness to it for me for them or for their kids or for the area. But he was out there for something. And many people believe, they're assuming that it was for the girls. This was a, S-deviant. What hugs, Lisa? Let me see, go up here. What did I miss? Oh, she just said hi and you said hugs. Okay. I thought somebody was having a bad day. That's so sweet. Okay. Jen, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Betty, did you hear about the 4 murders in Tennessee yesterday? Ooh. Woo! We'll be going over that. That's some breaking news right there. Let me get through this little tidbit of information and then we'll get on over there. And so we're going to be cutting over for some breaking news on 4 bodies found in Tennessee here in just a second. But before we move over, hey, Kim, it's nice to see you. Before we move over to the breaking news that is coming out of Tennessee, let me just wrap this up with, and then we'll come back to the Devil's Den horror. There's just something not right here. Because the taping of the license plate, and there was one critical factor that happened out there on the trail that really is giving me pause as to whether it truly was for the children, for the girls. I'm starting to believe it's not. And there's a reason. So right now we're going to be moving over to Tennessee. I don't know what's going on. As many of you guys know, this is a live broadcasted show. And sometimes we do have breaking news or we do divert from our show topic to cover a different story or something our audience brought to us or something currently breaking in the news. And this hits both of those criteria. Those brought to us by somebody in our audience, and it is breaking news. And so we're going to move on over to News Nation right now to find out what is going on in this particular situation. And I've got to, some things never change. And you know what, though? I can honestly say when my screen doesn't work or it stops using the audio, it doesn't bother me as much when I'm on a free account than when I'm on a high-paid, expensive account. Okay, let's move over to find out what's happening. Right now, the title of this News Nation article is 4 bodies in Tennessee amid abandoned baby investigation. What in the world is going on in this country? And why is all the... I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold back. Let's get some information. Let's get some intel.
3 on your Wednesday morning.
Okay, let's go back.
Are at 6:33 on your Wednesday morning. I want you to get a good look at this picture. This is the big story we are continuing to follow as this baby was dropped off in a stranger's yard in Dyer County. And shortly after that, law enforcement officers found 4 bodies that they say are connected to the case. Our Jarita Patterson is live in Dyer County this morning outside the law enforcement building there. Jarita, just one of the agencies that is trying to piece together clues about what has become a very bizarre mystery.
Absolutely. In fact, Janetta, in just the last 5 minutes or so, we had a gentleman walk out of the law enforcement center, folks, just behind me, with still a lot of questions. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of answers, at least just yet, because keep in mind, folks, we're talking county, state, as well as federal investigators are now involved in this case. A very complex case, by the way. Folks, this all started yesterday around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The Dyer County Sheriff's Office received reports that a young child was dropped off in someone's front yard along Highway 20. Fortunately, the baby was not hurt despite the extremely hot temperatures. Your news leader spoke with investigator Terry McCrate with the sheriff's office. He says the early details in the investigation are limited, but he is in disbelief a baby was abandoned on one of the hottest days of the year. Here's more.
I've been in law enforcement 38 years, and I've never seen this happen in this county. I mean, you hear stories of this happening across the country, but, you know, you would think in a rural area in Dyer County it would never happen, but it happened today.
Yeah, sadly it did. Now questions remain after 4 bodies were found in connection in nearby Lake County. Their identities have not yet been released. Of course, we will be here all day in order to bring you the latest. I can tell you thus far, we have reached out to those with
We're starting to have some opinions here. Sorry, I was looking through some stuff. We might have some possible identities coming in. There's some. It says, I wonder, was the 2 of the 4 bodies found in Lake County? So there, it looks like right now we have some 2 unsolved people missing. So people are starting to question whether some people that were reported missing may have also been, let's see who these are. This might be something, but they didn't say there was another family involved, but let me see where this is coming from. No words. I don't know, what does it say? No words seem right. Heartbreaking reality. So it looks like it was a mom, dad, and potentially a grandmother. Okay. I think we're starting to get something here. Okay, here it is. I think we found who this might be. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so it looks like we're finding some people are starting to break some information. So here it is. I have no official update to give at this time, just sending prayers. Alarming circumstances surrounding 4 people missing from Dyer County, Tennessee: Adriana Williams, Matthew Wilson, Courtney Rose, and Brandon Wilson. Adrian and Matthew are parents of the baby that was found earlier today. Courtney is the maternal grandmother, and Brandon is the maternal uncle. So it sounds like maybe the baby's father might be responsible for this. That's what it's starting to feel like to me, because it seems like it's all her family. Family members or friends are saying that all 4 are missing. Matthew's mother has been posted stating that she has last heard from Matthew at 6:43 on July 29th. At the time, he was on his way home from Big River Steel. At approximately 3:11 on July 29th, a 911 call was placed at a residence off of Old Highway 20 near Tigret Community. I'm probably saying that wrong. Community, stating that someone had left an infant strapped in a car seat in their yard just before driving away. The baby was checked out and identified. She was okay and safe. The discovery has sparked a search for Adrian, Matthew, Courtney, and Brandon. Loved ones insist that something is wrong and they do not believe that Adrian or Matthew would ever leave their baby that way. Matthew's mother posted that they could be in a late models 80s Ford white stripes, a 2008 model black Dodge Charger, or a small white SUV. And here they are right here. So there's most likely the victims right there of the quadruple homicide, it appears. The baby is safe. This tells me somebody cared about that kid. This is a mom, parents are both parents of the baby. So Adrian and Matthew, so maybe a D deal gone, a substance abuse deal gone wrong, kind of like the Sotos, Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Adrian and Matthew are both the parents of the baby, and they believe Adriana and Matthew are part of the 4 people that lost their life. So this seems something else. It seems too personal. So we're looking for somebody that's very, very close to this family. And it looks like the mom, the daughter, and the brother were all taken out, and the daughter's boyfriend, leaving the baby as the surviving person. Could it have been maybe the mom's boyfriend? Who was the mom seeing? At least the baby was saved. Amen to that, Lisa B. always. So who was the mom seeing? Because if both the baby's parents are together, and an uncle who dropped off the baby exactly. But you know who would probably be in an abusive relationship out of the 4 victims is the grandma. I mean, this does feel like domestic violence, right? Is that what, I mean, we're not looking at, I guess it could be a substance deal or robbery gone wrong, with the baby being in a car seat. Something like that. But it seemed like everybody was just fine and heading home, and then boom, people are gone. I was wondering if a neighbor had cameras. Oh, well, that's interesting. Big Steel. Let's look at some more information here. So let's move this out of the way here. In Lake County. So they were in Lake County. So let's go back to the named people here. Who are the named people? We got them. Okay. So let's go back to that Facebook page. Courtney is the grandmother. So Courtney Rose. Rose. I have a funny feeling they would be in her house. She's the mom. She was probably taking care. There's probably a sandwich family type of design there. So let's just try Courtney Williams. Lake County. And that's in Tennessee. taking a minute, so give me a minute. She's Courtney Rose. Courtney Rose. Courtney Rose. Or is Rose her last name? Courtney Nay. I have to throw Courtney Rose in there. Darlene, no. Rose or Ross? They listed here as Rose. Okay. This might be it. How old was she? Doesn't say what her age was. This might be it. Hold on, let me see. Does anybody know if Germantown is in Lake County? I'll look it up. Hold on. No, it's not in Lake Town. It's in Shelby County, a suburb of Memphis. Okay, well, it's getting close. Let me see what her other addresses are. Huh. It's Memphis and Lake County. Shelby County. So I think I'm in the wrong. I think this is not the right person. It's Mississippi. That's Texas. Harbor Heights. It might be in a, as I'm looking at, this might not be the right one. Let me go up here and put Rose in for her name. See if I can. Is Cordova? Hey, honey dip, girl mom, it's nice to see you. Sorry, we're on a, I kind of got sucked into a, I got sucked into a rabbit hole. So somebody came up and said, hey, did you hear about the 4 bodies that were in Tennessee? And I'm like, huh? 4 bodies in Tennessee? Like, might as well stop the show and check out this breaking news information. So I'm reading it, and I'm like, now I want to know who they are. They're not releasing the name publicly, but everybody's talking somewhere. So us and true crime and content creators, we know this thing and use this thing called social media, right? We kind of ditch, in all fairness, in my profession, outside of showing you guys like articles and stuff to keep us in line. I really don't go to mainstream media because they don't give you anything. If you want the info, if you want the intel, you want to know the names, you want to know where this is, you want to look into it, you're not getting that from mainstream media. That's why it's the biggest horse of, crock of what when you hear somebody, well, I didn't hear that come from the news. Who gets their news from the news anymore? I'm just saying, outside of the weather, I ain't got time for it. They don't give you crap. Okay, let's see if this is, I think this might be it. Let's see if this Cordova, Tennessee. Cordova, Tennessee. No, it's not in Lake County. It's in Shelby County. So everything I'm finding is in Shelby County for this particular person. I'm going to still... Do we have any Williams associated with any of these names here? I'm not finding it, folks. So I don't even know where they're at. Oh my gosh, this Courtney Christine Rose is connected to Gallatin, Tennessee, and Hendersonville, Tennessee. Oh, good gracious. Get me the heck out of here. So we've at least identified who the potential people that were a target of this were, but it kind of makes us scratch our head of who would do this. I'm sorry, I trust my instinct. And somebody cared about that kid enough not to harm the child. But they had it within them to execute an entire family. So snooze. Yeah, we have vulnerability. Exactly. You know, I mean, they're good they're a resource. I mean, mainstream media, in all fairness, is a tool. It's not in a lot of different ways than just the you know, but we utilize them for certain things because they do have the connections right to law enforcement. So we have to utilize them for those connections, and those interviews and breaking down that type of information. But when we already know the case is broke, we know for like this where we have 4 bodies and we just want to know who the victims are. We're not going to mainstream media for that. Okay, we're not going to mainstream media for details and investigative information. We're going to the people that are boots on the ground, the public that's posting all this crap on social media, that's telling us what's really happening out there, not sugarcoating it for their 5 o'clock news. So if people come here and say, well, I didn't hear that, you know, the news didn't say, take that crap somewhere else. I'm not the freaking news, okay? I'm just not. And neither is the umpteen million other content creators out here that run circles around mainstream media. I love mainstream media in part. Like I got friends and my sister's in mainstream media. Okay. I got love for mainstream media. I just don't got love for the hierarchy of mainstream media, much like top brass, right? I don't really care for top brass. That it's not effective. If they're good leaders, I love top brass. If they're poor leaders, I can't stand them and I'll call them out. And that's the way it is with media. We've got great people out there that's mainstream media. Nancy Grace, you don't get any more mainstream than Nancy Grace, yet we love Nancy Grace. You don't get any more mainstream than Brian Enton, yet we love Brian Enton. So, you know, Court TV, Vinnie Politan. Right? You don't get any more mainstream than these people. Yet we have high respect and high regard for each and every one of them. Why? Because they're not pushovers. They're smart enough to put in their contract their own ability to be free to express themselves without being in fear or jeopardy of losing their jobs. So they have these big contracts, and if they want to boot them, by God, you know, head parent company's going to pay them a lot of money to boot them. That's how it works. Much like Tucker Carlson. That's why he was able to get away with talking about certain things on his show on Fox News that other people, even with the same organization, could not speak to that level because he wrote it in his contract, so he had freedom to speak and not have to kowtow to the board of directors. Made him very successful too. So we're here. We're trying to find out. Mainstream media is not releasing the possibility of the names associated with this case. We're learning who they are. It sounds like it's a mom, her daughter's boyfriend, which ends up being this baby's mom and dad, and then of course her brother, which is her mom's son, and the baby's uncle. It sounds like the entire family was wiped off this earth. You know, the silver lining is that the baby, the child, was uninjured. The child was in good shape on the hottest day in Tennessee. So we are very thankful for that. But this also tells me that this is somebody very close to this family, very close to this family, and somebody that liked that child, that had feelings for that child. Because I'm telling you, if you can wipe out 4 people, a helpless baby doesn't really have much of a chance. Wouldn't you agree? And if they have the propensity to take life, then a child, the reason why this child was spared is because somebody cared for that child. And that's why I'm thanking Hope's Float. It does kind of make sense, the ex-boyfriend. But again, you know, young people, this environment, we can't take substances out. You know, we don't know them. I pray to God that the young mom and young dad, you know, don't use substances and are living a you know, a good life for their child. But we know the day and age that that's not always the reality of the situation. So could somebody have been introduced to that home due to their lifestyle decisions? And but this 4 people, it seems like kind of, it seems very personal to me. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm glad we were able to at least update you guys on a breaking news story. I was completely unaware of this because I was watching Nancy Grace this morning and taking notes on what she had to say about the, you know, the Devil's Den State Park murders. This is of, oops, wrong one. This is of the mom and the father, Clinton and Cristen Brink. They are being hailed heroes right now because they saved their children. They saved their 2 daughters. But it does beg to question, why did this happen? And we're going to now go through this. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that information. So now we're going to look at this because there's one critical factor that Nancy Grace brings up that I don't think the public is aware of, or may be aware of, but not understanding what it could mean. So again, this is going to take the first few moments of Nancy Grace's show. When I'm done with the last clip, we got about 4 different clips in here in the first 15 minutes I'm going to show you. I do think you need to watch the whole show, so I'll drop that link here shortly.
Car with tape over the plate, and we suspect the suspect to have injuries due to the witness seeing the female on Devil's Den hiking trail, and then took off in a small black sports car with tape over the plate, and we suspect the suspect to have injuries due to the witness seeing the suspect.
Okay, so right off the gate, we know that this person had an obscured license plate, which tells me one very, very important critical factor about this case, that whatever he was there to do was premeditated. Because it sounds like it's not something that he would stop and go and tape his license plate before he gets into his car. You got to think of the oh shit factor we talk about on this show a lot of the times. He just unalived 2 people. He's been injured. He's got, you know, he's not thinking clearly. He's not going to be pulling out a roll of duct tape and duct taping his license plate. That would have been done before. Okay? That would have been done before. So now we have to question, how was the car parked? No? Because I would think anybody coming into a state park and see somebody's license plate covered, that's a red flag. I think that would give anybody an EBGB feeling. So now we're looking at, was this car potentially backed into a spot? These are all things that are theories right now, but we have to process the entire scene in our mind because we're not physically out there and we don't know what we're looking at or what truly did transpire. So now we know there's tape on the car, and they just said that they believe that the assailant was injured. That tells me a critical factor. What does that tell me? Most likely they have the DNA profile of the assailant. That is huge. Let's move on. And that's just in the first 44 seconds of the Nancy Grace show. And look at all the information that we just acquired.
Striking fear in every parent's heart. I just got back from taking the twins hiking. These two parents with their two little girls slaughtered at the Devil's Den State Park.
And that's what it was. People have problems with some of the way that media and mainstream media describes events. Sometimes you just need to describe the events, okay? I'm not going to kowtow, nor am I going to, I understand, but I'm a very opinionated person. I'm a very bold person, and we're very loud for justice and justice reform. However, the TMZ article about Ethan Chapin and about the children being slaughtered in that house, I don't know of a more appropriate word. A more appropriate word than that. Because that's exactly what happened inside 1122 King Road. And for the people that can't handle it, don't read it. But to think that somebody should tamper down what truly happened in order to salvage somebody's feelings, is that really true and free journalism or freedom of the press? Because let's face it, what happened inside that off-campus apartment on the outskirts of the University of Idaho was nothing less than a slaughterhouse. And as hard and as disgusting as that image is for many of us to comprehend, what else, what other word could describe what happened inside that home? So before you go and beat up people running stories, was their story true and factual? And the answer is yes, it was. So now we are going to be nasty to news organizations that tell us the truth. I want you guys to just process that for a little bit.
As we go to air, a major update in the search for the perp that allegedly murdered a mom and dad on a popular hiking trail. Straight out to Crime Stories investigative reporter Sydney Sumner. What happened?
Arkansas State Police just released a possible photo of the suspect.
I think that the information I'm seeking that's going to blow my theory into perspective for all of you is about to come up, but it might be a little bit further down, so just bear with me.
Fortunately, it's from behind, so we're just seeing the back of his head. He's standing on what looks like the edge of a cliff looking out over an overlook, and the description matches what they have been putting out there. He's wearing long black pants, a long sleeve black shirt. It looks like there's a design on the back of the shirt. It looks like it's a red square with blue filling the border. He's carrying a black backpack and what looks like a duffel bag.
That might be... Is the Real Me Too in here? The Real Me Too would know this because she's bought me a shirt. Would that picture on the back be a design for a fishing shirt? Because some of those long sleeve fishing shirts, like I said, the Real Me Too bought me one. And it's long sleeve. It kind of looks like that. It's got a water design on the back of it, but it's a breathable sports long sleeve shirt that you can go fishing in. It's a North Face t-shirt. Honey Dip believes it's North Face. Nobody dresses like that in 100+ degree weather. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that 100% either. That statement that nobody dresses like this in 100-degree weather, I can't agree with that for a variety of reasons. I am from a construction background, and I can tell you when it's 100-degree weather, I cover my body up. It keeps the sun, it pulls the sweat away from your body. It helps prevent you from overheating. With the right proper clothing. I mean, in Florida, I don't know how many of my family members, the coffee club are here in Florida right now that are in the chat, but think about your lawn maintenance crews. When do you see your lawn maintenance crews running around your yards mowing in short sleeves and shorts? Never. Never, ever. Even in 100-degree weather. So I don't necessarily agree with that assessment just from my personal experience, but they're saying that this is not typical for somebody hiking. Now, this would be something typical. Again, I just described many ways that somebody would be dressed like this, but it's not in their leisure. It's in their work. They're working. They want to keep all that dirt and all those splinters off their body. They want to keep the sweat, pulled away from their skin. And they have the moisture wicking type of clothing on that helps keeps you cool. Long sleeve wear that that's designed to keep you cool, not hot. And so many people in our landscaping industry here in Florida wear them all the time. I can't tell you the last time I've ever seen a lawn maintenance guy in shorts or a tank top or short sleeve shirt, but Real Me Too probably in a sugar coma because someone told her to eat a dozen s'mores last night. Oh, good gracious. I was thinking of s'mores too. You know what it was? It was the chocolate commercial. There was a chocolate commercial on, and they had the big pack of chocolate. And I'm like, why don't they make s'mores size, like a box of s'mores size, already broken? Nothing drives me crazy than trying to break stuff off and half of your freaking chocolate hits the dirt. If they already had them in the graham cracker size square, you'd only need to pull out the piece and put on top. No? Somebody needs to make $1 million with that. Go make your chocolate. Make it graham-sized chocolate bar. A thin graham-sized chocolate bar for s'mores. There's your multi-billion-dollar. What do? You take a design that ain't working and make it functional for everybody. Everybody loves s'mores. You know what? Then the Real Me Too might have been able to eat 2 dozen instead of a dozen. I'm just saying. We need to make sure it's easier, not harder. Especially with our chocolate intake, don't you know? Kind of like our caffeine intake. All right, so I wanted to stop and let you guys know that about the long sleeve stuff because I don't necessarily agree with that. Now, in this particular scenario and in this particular environment, they are right. This is not what you're going to see with typical hikers out there. So he does have red flags, but I just want to caution anybody saying nobody would be out in 100-degree weather like that. That's an untrue statement. There's a lot of people that are dressed from head to toe in 100-degree weather, but they're usually doing some type of job, not leisure. So just clerical and clarifying.
And his baseball cap is a light tan. He does appear to have sandy blonde or light brown hair. ASP didn't give us much information on where they got this photo. Maybe another hiker on the trail who just happened to catch the suspect in this position. And
I also want to also state, because there has been, just like I just posted up here, Peggy reminds us that there were some slight descriptions in his appearance. So, for example, we heard that somebody was in head-to-toe dark clothes. This is what we're seeing. But we also heard that person had a dark hat. We also, excuse me, heard somebody was in a tank top. Those all could be true, and there's a reasons, and they actually do go over those theories and an explanation in here. I think it's about to go into it now.
It's now zoomed in a better photo. So we're unsure of where exactly they got this, but just so unfortunate that it doesn't have his face.
It is unfortunate, but if you notice, he's looking over an overlook, which is a little creepy because it makes you wonder, was he spying? Did this family stay there overnight? Did he mark them somehow? You know, there's so many questions that I have that really don't go to the integrity of the investigation, so to speak, but would clarify a little bit of the mystery for us, just in my opinion.
The parents were attacked and murdered with the children present. With the children present. Why? Why attack these two loving parents? Again, with me, an all-star panel, straight out to Danette Sosa. She is joining us from Devil's Den. They're in Arkansas, formerly KNWA. Nanette, thank you for being with us. What do we know at this hour?
As far as the park is concerned, all the trails are closed here at Devil's Den.
Okay.
Devil Den's State Park.
Okay. I think this is where she's going to get into. I think this is the spot that's going to be the most bombshell. Now, remember, I just asked several questions before this segment of Nancy Grace's show came on, and those questions were, we just saw the man looking over an overlook. Was he spying on somebody? Was he watching? When did this family get to this park? Was this supposed to just be a day trip? Was this supposed to just be a day trip? But we need to know, because if they stayed the night at that park, if it was a camping type park where they stayed the night, does anybody know one way or another whether they were there? Because I know in one picture, I did see a campground behind them, but I had no idea. Betty's and Just only on Betty's and Justin's. What is that? But I noticed that there was a photo of them, you know, at like some tents set up behind them, but I didn't know if that was prior photos, because it sounds like they're just an outdoor type of family. They love being outside. They do outdoors activities with their children often. That's what it sounds like to me. But if they stayed here overnight, there's a possibility that this guy was stalking them. You know? And he could have prepared his vehicle the night before after he marked the people. I'm very curious, because there's something not right here that defies logic, and these go to those questions. But let's listen to this. I'll stop it when it gets to a point, because remember, at the very beginning, when we started this show, I said that this had, for me, some type of targetedness to it. And if you don't believe me, go back to the beginning of the show. You will hear that come out of my mouth. I feel that this is targeted. I don't necessarily feel that this family specifically was targeted or the children were specifically targeted, but it just feels targeted for whatever reason. And we'll go over those just a little bit more in a few moments.
The police and FBI has now helped in this search. Extra caution has been taken. More patrol is on scene. However, we're only allowed through the exterior of the park. As you can see, there are two entrances. This is one entrance. You see the sign behind me, and then there's another more toward the north end of this park.
Nanette, did you just tell me there are only two entrance exits?
It's a highway that runs through.
There you guys go. Two entrances and exits, and there's a highway. So what does that tell you? You can only go right or left. So I feel like there is some camera footage, some trail cam footage that may have been provided to law enforcement at this time that they're keeping under wraps. But with two people unalived so quickly and law enforcement's called so quickly, they would have been able to canvass very quickly and know that this assailant only went right or went left, and sent people on to both ends to find out if there's any type of camera footage or anything like that. I truly believe that they would have done that in those immediate first hours. Okay.
Here, when I say ingress and egress, or entrances and exits. So you have a main highway. You come off, you have an option to come off the main interstate, which is Interstate 49. Then you take a smaller.
Interstate 49 tells us one critical factor, that there is most likely some type of video surveillance on some aspect of that roadway. Usually it's up on a light pole or something like that. Not all the time. If it's really desolate, they may not have that technology, but it gives us hope that there may be some type of technology, especially on our interstates. Our interstates, they utilize, you know, being on public property as much as they can with our privacy and our privacy rights, because we have no privacy being on a U.S. roadway, a public U.S. roadway.
Highway 74, then that will connect you to 2 highways here toward this particular park, which is Highway 220 or the Highway 170.
Okay, so you guys see that they've got the 2 parks, parking lot of dens, and the location of the homicide. 220's over here, Highway 70's over here. You see this Highway 40 right here going through. It's a nice big highway, but it's in a desolate part of the area. You see all the greenery. You see very little community in all of this greenery. So they may have some evidence gathering complications because of the location of this.
4. So those are the 2, and they can loop around, and you can go on or off through those highways.
Right. Okay, that's important. I'm gathering that there are only 2 entrance exits, formal entrance and exits. But let me go straight out, guys. Joining me at the scene, Devil's Den State Park, now to an expert, Chris Adams, swamp survival expert, environmental educator.
This is the guy I like. And now we're getting into the area. Sorry, I forgot about that first area, but it was a lot of great information that we heard. But now we're going to get into it. He's going to explain something that's very, very critical.
You can find him at Turtle Man on Facebook. Renowned.
What is up with all these turtle people? We got Turtle Boy, Turtle Island, Turtle Man now, Turtle.
Survivalist. Chris, you have studied the terrain. And when I was asking Annette Sosa, are there only 2 entrance and exits? The reason I'm asking that, obviously, is because I want to find out who was the perp. And if he did exit, those are the 2 formal entry and exits, right? If he was by car, that's where we're going to get an ID on him. However, as you know from working at multiple state parks, and some of them extremely, extremely tough terrain, you can walk in and out of a state park practically anywhere, right, Chris Adams?
If you know how to get in and out of a place, you can get in and out fairly easy.
Yep.
Let's go back to that last shot where it was describing the terrain. Guys, you are seeing the entrance and exit, and it looks pretty idyllic, but the terrain is actually very, very difficult. Chris Adams, familiar with this terrain. Describe it for me, Chris. This guy, if he did not leave through one of the 4...
He doesn't seem, I mean, I'm trying to think of, process this. This guy is not obviously thinking very clearly. He's doing this stuff in broad daylight. He would need a quick getaway because the kids got away. He had to have known that they would have found somebody and got law enforcement out there. The easiest way to get out of Dodge, the absolute quickest, would be I-49. But if there's a southbound, there's also a northbound. So now we're at another crossroad. Did he go north or did he go south? I believe they knew him. He would hide more to not be recognizable. It's possible. There's something just not sitting right with me with this. And it's the duct, the initial thing, it was the duct tape. I'll be honest with you. I can pinpoint it exactly what made it not sit right with me. It was the duct tape on the license plate. That's what made me not sit, because it told me that he went in there for predatory reasons, but we don't know what those reasons were.
Normal entry and exits, which we believe he did, but we don't know that. What would he be up against now? Crooked, steep, no through trucks, RV trailers, only certain lengths can go in because of the terrain. Tell me about the terrain, Chris Adams.
Well, unlike my home, it is anything but flat. I mean, there's rock formations, there's caverns, there's creeks, wooded areas, even waterfalls.
Let me.
Now that's the perfect area.
Weigh in. What do you think about this lying in wait? A mother and a father dead, leaving behind 3 girls. Mom murdered. Like in the case of Rachel Morin that we were just showing on the Ma and Pa trail, that guy lay in wait. That's what I think about this guy. Why do I care? Because maybe somebody saw him. Weigh in. What do you think about this lying in wait? A mother and a father dead, leaving behind 3 girls, 1 a teen, and 2 itty-bitty children, little to grow up without mom and dad. What do you think, Ron?
It's horrible. And that's the first thing I thought of when I read this case about Rachel Morin's case. There's so many ways to get in and out of that woods to the Ma and Pa trail as it is for this situation here. Yeah, there might be 2 formal ways in and out, but I'm sure there's numerous ways. Like Chris just said, if you know the terrain, you're going to get in and get out. So I'm sure this guy knew where he was going and knew what he planned on doing, and then carried out his act.
And that's really scary. But why this family?
And the point of that, Andrea Lewis is joining me, a high-profile lawyer, partner Cersei Law, former felony prosecutor. Andrea, the point is, I'm on to finding this guy. I think, A, he knew the terrain really well, like Chris Adams was pointing out. I think he lay in wait, which gives me a bead on who may have seen him. What time did he get there? And why did he identify these 2? You know, it's really rare, and you've tried a lot of cases, as have I, for one person to take on 2 adults.
And not only that, but Clinton was not small. He was a big dude. Who would take on a man and a woman?
And he leaves the children. The children live. They go running, screaming at the top of their lungs. They're witnesses. Do I like putting children on the stand? No, I don't. Do you do it when you have to? Yes, you do. But for one guy to take on 2 adults, very peculiar. And I believe he had to know the terrain, Andrea.
Nancy, you're exactly right. And if you look at the photographs of the husband and father, he does not appear to be a relatively small man. So this guy, not only did he know what he was doing, not only was he there prepared, but he took on somebody that likely had some force and ability to fight back. Now, you bring up a very good point, right? Which is, what was the motive here? And 2, were the parents the intended target? We know he certainly intended to kill them, but was he actually after the 2 young girls, similar to a Delphi type situation where he may have been actually looking for young girls to prey upon? We don't know yet. But this whole thing is very unusual and absolutely a horrific crime.
Andrea Lewis, put her up, please. You say something like that and you expect everybody to just go to sleep tonight, put their head on the pillow and have sweet dreams? Now, we've heard over and over, Andrea, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong at all, because what we keep hearing is they died, mom and dad, dead on a hiking trail. And we keep hearing trying to protect their daughters. That had to come from somewhere. We're not hearing they died because they were robbed, or they died because, like Rachel Morin, she was brutally sex attacked.
And you know, that is true. I mean, they have hailed these in all of the news, hailed these parents as heroes for protecting their children. And it makes you wonder. So
what you just said, a blood-curdling thought that the perp was trying to get the girls, and the parents
fought back. I gotta get past here. Here's a good idea. Look how big this guy is.
Whether it be from witnesses or maybe even the girl.
But the one thing, because I'm running out of time here, so I'm gonna have to speed this along, and I can't find it in here. The one thing that is very perplexing to me, and here, let me drop this in, and you guys can go watch it in its entirety, and you'll hear her say it, is there was another woman and her daughter, a single woman, not with a father, not with another child, a single woman and her daughter that this guy passed. The mom tried to spark up a conversation with him, and he would not speak to her and kept his eyes down. So you have a woman all by herself with a child, a female child, and he didn't attack her. He didn't unalive the single woman. He waited until the big guy and his wife got on the trail with 2 children. This is why I'm saying this case is not sitting well with me, because there are things here that do not defy logic for me in my brain. One is the tape on the license plate. 2 is he had other victims he could have attacked that would have been a lot easier with a lot less strength or overpowering. You're going from having to attack 2 huge adult, and I shouldn't say huge. I mean, the mom's not, a tiny little, soaking wet, 95-pound soaking wet woman. She looks like she can handle her own as well. So you've got 2 parents that appear to be equipped to handle their own. And this guy's going to attack those 2 people and not the lone lady with her daughter. So this is what's making me say it feels targeted. I don't know if the area is targeted, if this family was targeted, but there was some type of premeditation associated with this too, with the tape on the license plate. But what's now getting me that I can't get past is, why did the other lady and her daughter live? They seem like that would have been a prime opportunity for somebody that's in the area to snatch girls or want children. It just seems like there was more opportunity without risking so much in a different victim. So what made this family his target? Yeah, it was a knife. We hear it was a bladed weapon of some sort. We don't know if it was what type of weapon. And believe it or not, in criminal cases, the weapon does matter. Is it 3 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches? Is it a K-bar military style knife, or is it a pocket knife? It does matter what type of knife was used. Because as the one thing that we're all hearing that's ringing true in this case is he was prepared. So he had his backpack. He knew what he was doing. They believe he was familiar with the terrain. So that is telling me a lot of information. But why this family? It was premeditated. But why this family? There's a reason. And until we find out that reason, we may not find out who he is. But one thing we did learn from Nancy Grace is that they appear to have some type of DNA. They have a description of the vehicle. And they're trying to determine, and I truly believe that law enforcement right now should have an idea of what direction he went. Just a hunch. But I would think at this point, this happened Saturday. It's Wednesday. It's been 5 days. That's a lot of time to do a lot of work. And I have to believe at this point, they would at least know which direction he went. They know he left in a car. A car is a big item. It's not something that you can sneak around in. Okay. It might blend, but you can't sneak around in it. And anybody that has a photo or one of those license plate readers anywhere on that interstate is going to identify the car, because it's going to be the one with the license plate number covered up, and that's going to trigger something in their system that they can't read a license plate. So I do believe that there are some things Would he have taken right off out of there and pulled the tape off of his license plate? I don't believe so. I believe he would have taken off out of there with the tape on his license plate and drove as far away until he felt safe. And then he would have exited his vehicle and taken the tape off his license plate. That's how I'm envisioning it, because I'm trying to process this. When would be a good time for him to take that off? He would have been panicking. You know, he would have had his, even when you do something like this, you have an adrenaline rush. You have all these, this adrenaline and these endorphins just flooding your body. So you're not really, you're not firing on all cylinders. Okay. So we have to think that he is not going to be thinking, let me get out of here and pull off to the side of the road to take the tape off the license plate. He has no idea if they've already called law enforcement at this point. If law enforcement is right around the corner, we have to think in the minds of a person in that particular moment. He's getting out of Dodge. Happy birthday, Missy. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So that's what I have. I've got some other obligations this afternoon that I need to get prepared for. So I've been trying to get back on track and doing a show in the afternoon, but I'm finding that that's becoming very, very difficult for me to do after working all day. Cause I'm not just on this platform. I'm also on X as well as TikTok. I have several channels on TikTok that I keep updated with every single day, just like I do here. So once life starts settling down, we'll get our show. If anybody doesn't know, we typically have 3 shows a day. We have the morning show, we have a lunchtime show on our other channel, and we have our evening show on this channel. So 2 shows on this channel, 1 show on the other channel, and then of course I'm pumping out, short videos on TikTok all day. A lot of people say that they don't have TikTok. I found out you don't need TikTok to view the videos. So if you hit the link, it should be able to pop it up for you and play it for you without you being on the app. That's what I was told. I don't know that for a fact, so don't hold my feet to the fire for that. But I still think you guys might be able to still watch the work. If you're coming in late, we went over some breaking news that happened last night. And this was 4 bodies were found in Lake County in Tennessee. They're not releasing the names at this time. However, you know me, that's not good enough. So I wanted to do some preliminary research to find out if we could identify the individuals that lost their life, and we have. It sounds like this is Adriana Williams, Matthew Wilson. Adriana and Matthew are the mom and dad of the child that was abandoned at somebody's property. Courtney Rose is Adriana's mom, and her brother, Braden, all lost their life yesterday. The baby was obviously unharmed, but was abandoned. And this feels very, very, very personal to me. I don't know who did this, what their motivation was, but this appears to be the victims. And as you see the little girl, that is the little girl that was abandoned in her car seat. So I'll be following this. I keep trying to contemplate this, and the only thing I can come up with, and there's a variety of reasons. These kids are young, I see a young guy with tattoos on his arms. So there is a possibility that there is some type of, substance abuse element to this. Not that's always indicative of it, but it's in this society, it's a good indicator that might be a possibility. And then, of course, we have a mom, the grandmother of this child, and she still looks pretty young, very beautiful. So I'm starting to feel like maybe it's a domestic issue potentially with the mom, i.e. grandma of the baby that was abandoned. That seems kind of more probable to me. But again, we are so early in this case. I am confident that my preliminary review of this case is going to change because we have literally nothing to go on. What we've got is a child was abandoned in one county and 4 bodies were found in the other county. That's as much factual information as we have about the case of the 4 bodies in Tennessee. That's it. We don't have any more. We don't have any less. That's all we have. So everything other than that you've heard me speak about related to this case is all of my opinion. It has nothing, no factual information to it. I do believe that these are the 4 people, even though this was not coming out of mainstream media, but it does appear to be somebody very close to the area and most likely close to this family. And they're saying that these people were missing before 4 bodies were found. And they're all related to one another. So there is that. It's a very sad situation here. We've got a baby that literally lost her entire family. That child doesn't even know grief yet. That child doesn't even know the pain. You know when that child's going to have to face that pain? Years from now. Years from now. And I can guarantee that this child is going to go through some very tough times in her upbringing over something so senseless. If you are being abused, please seek help, okay? It is not worth it. If you are the abuser, seek help. It's not worth it. No matter how you look at this, whether you are a victim or a perpetrator of domestic violence, just stop. Get yourself help, get yourself safe, and quit if you are the aggressor. Stop trying to control people. The only person you have the ability to control is yourself. That's it. And if somebody's trying to control you, that's not normal. It's not normal. It's not normal to be fearful of someone you love. It's not normal. It's not normal to ever feel that person hurt you physically. It's not normal. I don't care what kind of lifestyle you grew up in. I don't care what type of household you came from. I don't care if that's how they dealt with every bit of their issues. I'm here to tell you that's not normal. And if you think it is, then maybe it's time for you to go get help and start living a normal life. Start living a normal life. Abuse comes in a lot of different varieties, from mental to physical to emotional, spiritual. Abuse is abuse. It's meant to break you down, and it's meant to destroy you. It's meant to steal your identity. That's what it's meant to do. Don't let it. Seek help. The most dangerous time for anybody seeking to exit a violent situation, it is the most dangerous time. Absolutely, hands down. So my suggestion, even if you don't think it'll be you, take extra precautions. Sometimes just leave. Just leave. Have your family with an escort of law enforcement go to the house and load the stuff up. If they won't give it to you, sue them. Be done. But don't ever go back. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And we will see you real soon. If I can do a live this afternoon, I will make sure I am on it. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. I would play you outro and intro videos, but I'm not paying for this crap service anymore, and I'm perfectly fine not playing my intros. So I'll probably prepare an intro and play it as a video. And there you have it. We'll figure it out. I'll work around it until we get a new show up and running, or a new stream up and running. All right, guys. See you soon.